Hello everyone and welcome, I'm Peter Pan Mofo, and today I'm bringing you a Stunt Creator tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to do the starting grids, split checkpoints and all the checkpoints and everything like that, and also how to place the starting grid way up in the sky, because you can't no longer stack the trigger on props. That's just on the build in there, it's not actually on the prop. Right, so first of all I will show you how to place the starting grid way up in the sky. I've already got a platform up there. Before you used to be able to just put the trigger on a prop if you had a checkpoint on it, but now you cannot do that anymore. It just says random stuff like it's too far from the camera, too far from the starting grid. Which is weird because you can place it wherever you want and then the starting grid will automatically disappear and you have to place it down. But yeah, so you can't place it up here like you used to be able to, and obviously you can't place the starting grid up here. As you can see, it must be placed closer to the trigger. So how you do it, you want to get to your trigger and you want to put it underneath the prop. So where that number 4 checkpoint is, it's a good idea to put a checkpoint on top so you can be able to find the place underneath, or just place the trigger down first then put the prop above the trigger. But then you go, so you can see on the mini map that I'm directly underneath the number 4 checkpoint. That's just using that checkpoint as a marker, it's not needed. And grab the starting line. So yeah, then you come up here and you can now place the starting grid as long as it fits on the prop and the prop is smooth. So let's change it down to 2, there you go. So yeah, now you can place it above it. It doesn't have to be directly above it, as you can see it's a little bit off there. Bring it down. You can actually do it quite far. So over here you see how far away it is from where the trigger is. So it's pretty far away that you can put it. So you just make sure there's somewhere you can place the trigger on the floor below if you want to build the starting grid up in the sky. Right, so let's show you how to do the starting grids. As you can see there, I could place the checkpoint there and it automatically gives you the start finish line. So I got 30 players, I got a 30 car starting grid and they fit nicely. Great. Sometimes they don't fit. You'll have it looking like that. So all you want to do is switch over to stunt layout. Sometimes even when you switch over to stunt layout it doesn't put them in the right places, so just switch back and forwards again and it should put them in the right places. So that's how to get the stunt layout, the stunt grid layout. But if you don't have much room for a starting grid, say you're starting somewhere on the floor that's not got much room, you want a small car starting grid. So what you need to do, you need to make sure you have available vehicles. You need to have either cycles or motorcycles available in available vehicles, and then you will place your grid. Get your grid. So then you can change it to a small starting grid with bikes. You turn stunt grid layout off and it brings the pack in nicely, so you get however you want it, get it nice and even. So you change it over to your small starting grid once you've got it evenly laid out, or however you want it. You can have it quite tightly packed. I usually like to have even amount of cars on each layer. So you place that down and then you need to save the race like so. Then go back into race details, change the starting grid size to medium, then you can go into available vehicles and all the vehicles will be there for you to select. If you don't change the starting grid in the previous menu, then it will just be motorcycles and cycles, which are for the small car starting grid. So you select whatever ones you want in there. You can leave motorbikes selected if you want to, but usually I will just have that. But if you leave it selected, you press back to back out, come back out, not that far, and then just change over to cars, and you have your small car starting grid. So that's how you do your starting grids. Right, so checkpoints. There's two types of checkpoints. The primary checkpoint, which is the regular checkpoint that everyone's used to seeing. And then you have the circular checkpoint, which is that one. Now apparently I've been hearing it hasn't got much height on it still. People have been saying they've been going through the top of these and not registering them, but I know these do have a lot more width than these ones do. So depending on where you're placing them is depending on which one you want to use. Usually if I float a checkpoint in after a wall ride or something, I will probably use this one. But then once you want to do the split checkpoints, you can change it up the top there. So the type primary is the normal ones that you regularly do for your race. Then you change it to secondary and you can put the split checkpoint down there. Sometimes it will stay on secondary, so you can carry on putting down the secondary ones, and as you see there, it changed back to primary, which usually happens. These are a little bit glitchy every now and again, they're deleting everything, so you just got to keep an eye on them. But what I tend to do is I tend to put down the secondary one as I'm putting down the primary one. So you put down the primary one, switch to secondary, and then it will automatically be linked with the one you just put down. Like so. But you can just go around and put a load of checkpoints down and then add the secondary ones later. So you just go secondary, and number 3, I don't want it paired with number 3. As you can see, the lighter line in the middle there is showing you which one the checkpoint's paired with, and then the 2 purple lines is showing you the previous checkpoint and the next checkpoint on that route. So at the moment it's getting this checkpoint and then going back to there, but that's not how we want it. So let's carry on with this. That was the wrong one, so hang on, I need to edit that. So back out and then pick it up. So it's linked with that. If you go up to here, you can change it to number 4 like that, and it changes it to number 4, and then it will leave that one there. So we just delete that one, pick that one up, put it in the right place. So there you go, that one's now linked with the right one, and it's just carrying on for number 5. So as you see at the top it says number 5, and you can see the link in there, and it's still on secondary, so it's still linked to number 6, number 7, number 8. It's the longest I've ever had it stay on the secondary checkpoint for. But if you do get it glitch out and one goes, so that's 8 in this one, should be 6. Yeah, it's 6. So you can go on to secondary, and then just cycle through to get to number 7, then add the checkpoint in the middle if it deletes. But yeah, once you get to the end, you just need to carry on with your primary route. You don't need to worry about relinking them, it will automatically relink it to the next checkpoint. So when you want to add another checkpoint, if you decided you haven't got enough checkpoints or something, or you missed one somewhere, all you need to do is come down next to the checkpoint in between the 2 checkpoints, and onto the line, you'll notice it changes yellow. Then just press X or A there and it will add another checkpoint. And then you can just add the secondary one in afterwards if you haven't got a secondary one. Obviously change it to the right number. What number was it? Number 4, wasn't it? So change it to 4 and then whack it in. If you're new to creating, I suggest checking out my checkpoint placement tutorial, because checkpoints is one of the most important parts of a race. If the checkpoints are off, it's going to ruin a whole race. But sometimes you'll find if the checkpoints are on props like this here, there's no line between it, so there's no way of making the line yellow. It happens as well when, like, sometimes it's raised above the other checkpoint and the line's going up diagonally towards it. You can't ever get on it properly. So all you need to do is just take the checkpoints, put them on the floor, and then get your extra checkpoint there. It's a pain in the ass to do sometimes, but that's the only way you can do it sometimes when they're on props. And just another quick little thing before I go. If you are like floating a checkpoint using a prop after a stunt or something, so people can get the checkpoint in case they die on landing, you can't delete the checkpoint, the prop underneath, because it automatically deletes the checkpoint. Even sometimes if the checkpoint isn't directly on the prop, but the prop's like going through or near the checkpoint, it will delete the checkpoint as well. So you just got to be careful with that. All you need to do is go into props, make sure prop stacking is off, pick up the prop, take it somewhere else, put it down, then delete it. And then your checkpoint will stay up there in the air. Sometimes I found with the starting grid, if you do that, it deletes the starting grid. So what you need to do is just pick up the prop and then use it somewhere else. But anyway, I hope you found this video useful if you were wondering how the checkpoints worked or how to get your starting grid way up in the sky. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'm on PS4, Xbox One and PC, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Peter Pan Mofo, thanks for watching.
Peter Pan, that's what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely. Peter Pan, that's what they call me. Promise that you never be lonely.
Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free.